Rachol, also known as Raitura, is a village in Salsette, Goa. This beautiful village is considered to be a place of historical significance and has a lot of heritage buildings. During the days of the Portuguese rule, Rachol had a famous fort. Sadly, today all that remains of the fort is the moat that spanned it and the old arched gateway. Before the Portuguese, this village was a Muslim-ruled area, primarily under Ismail Adil Shah. The Hindu king Krishna Deva Raya defeated Ismail Adil Shah with the help of the Portuguese and hence gave Rachol as a gift to the Portuguese for their help. The Portuguese turned it into a military base in 1543.
हो गांवच रायतूरचो एक सेपरेट गांव न्हय. हो गांव आदले काळार रायचो एक वाडो म्हणटच कुमदाद रायची सेपरेट राशोलची कुमदाद म्हूण ना. पूण राय त्या तेंपार फामाद जावंक ना. रायतुरा फामाद जाले and Raitura was not a village in those days. It was a town, well developed. आणि ह्या गांवांत त्या काळार सुमार 6,000 लोक असले. तांतल्यो 20 पोर्चुगीज फॅमिलीज. हो गांव इतलो डिवेलप जावलो कित्याक हांगा फोर्ट आसलो आनी दोनूच दारवंटे आसले ताका. एक दारवंटो तुमी भितर सरल्यात तो आनी दुसरो दारवंटो कुडतोरी वचपाक हे सायडीन. ओके आनी देर वॉज अ सी रूट. हांगा हितून फाटल्यान गेलीं जाल्यार हांगा धोको आसा. तो त्या काळार हांगा राजा रावताले. सो तांकां खूंय वचपाक जाल्यार तेन्ना रस्त्यांनी वचोन आसले, उदकांतल्यान सी रूट्स आसले. तर हांगा तावन खूंय वयताले. तो राजा हांगा रावताले ते राचेर घोड्यांचेर बसून हांगा दर्याशी येताले आनी मागीर ते बोटींनी हांगा थंय वयताले. हो गांव इतलो फामाद आसलो पूण उपरांत ह्या गांवांत वशाची पिडा एपिडेमीक पडली. कित्याक हांगा उदक कुसलें खूंय आनी सांगतात ते प्रमाणे त्या उदकांत तांचो एलिफंट पडलो आनी एलिफंट पडून कुसलो आनी ताचें इन्फेक्शन जालें आनी सगलो लोक हांगाचो मरूंक लागलो. देखून हो गांव सारको वॉज डिजर्टेड फॉर प्रिटी लाँग टायम and all people left here and they settled in Margaon and some in Raya.
The first Christian church in Salsette was built in mud alongside the fortress of Rachol in 1566. It was later rebuilt in stone in 1596. This church is dedicated to Our Lady of Snows. The 5 Jesuit priests who were martyred in the Concoli revolt were buried in this church. On the first Fridays of every month, thousands of people from all over Goa flock to this church to venerate the miraculous image of Jesus. people ask for graces and thank the Lord for innumerous favors received. Many candles are lit to worship the Lord. The first seminary in Rachol functioned in this church for 30 years. In 1610, it was shifted to the present location. The Rachol Seminary is also known as the Patriarchal Seminary of Rachol. It is the largest seminary in the whole of Asia. Initially, the seminary was a Muslim fortress which was then converted into a church by the Portuguese. Only in the 16th century, it was recognized as a seminal center for theological studies. It is now the diocesan major seminary of the Primatial Archdiocese of Goa and Daman. Despite this fact, the church in the seminary is dedicated to Saint Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuit order.
Now, coming to the seminary was built in 1610 by the Jesuits at the order of this king, Portuguese king called King Sebastian. Now, it was built here because this area was already a fortress. So 1610 it was inaugurated on the 1st of November, and it was called the All Saints Seminary because in the Catholic Church, 1st of November we celebrate the feast of or the solemnity of All Saints. Later on, when Saint Ignatius of Loyola became a saint, that is in 1622, this college and the church was dedicated to Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Now, there was a little bit of political turmoil in Goa, beginning in what is called Portugal, and in 1759, all the Jesuits were expelled from Goa. Later on, in 1762, this became a diocesan seminary and was called the Seminary of the Good Shepherd. Slowly, the Seminary of the Good Shepherd was turned into a diocesan seminary with training of priests for Archdiocese of Goa. Now, the seminary is known for three main things. First, there was a printing press here in the seminary, and the Christi Purana by Thomas Stephens was printed here besides another 15 books. Second, Swami Vivekananda visited this seminary to study Christianity in 1892. It is 150 years now that he visited it. From here, he went to Chicago for the World Conference of Religions. And thirdly, because the seminary has got a lot of paintings, lot of architecture for students of history, architecture to learn about. So more or less in brief, I would say this is what the history of the seminary is.
The corridors of the seminary have an aroma of its history. Every corridor is decorated with different paintings, each having a unique story. At the entrance of the church, there is a small chapel dedicated to Saint Constance the Martyr, whose relics were brought by the Vincentians when they were in charge of the seminary. The church also has the original miraculous statue of infant Jesus that was found by a priest on a Mozambique island. It was first taken by him to the church of Kolwa and later shifted to Rachol. A 19th century pipe organ is played during the liturgical services, which is a rare sight in the churches of Goa. Another interesting fact about the seminary is that Agnello Gustavo Adolfo de Souza, commonly known as Father Agnel, who is in the process of being canonized as a saint, studied at the seminary and had a separate dwelling. He died on the feast of Sacred Heart of Jesus, which is on 20th November 1927. He is said to have collapsed in the pulpit of the seminary towards the end of the sermon. On the same day, he was buried in the cemetery of the Rachol Church of Our Lady of Snows. Even though his bones were later shifted to Pilar, a special burial is still maintained in his honor. The seminarians believe that the peaceful atmosphere and the unmistakable calm that is sensed in the seminary makes this place unique and very holy. One must definitely ask for their desired graces here. Our insight into the Rachol Church and the seminary and its history has led us to a new understanding of how significant this calm and serene village is. Its beauty will continue to attract people from far and wide, and its essence will never be lost.